Welcome to the Soul Unscripted Naked Truths podcast, where spirit meets skin, intuition meets curiosity, and the conversations unfold exactly the way life does. Raw, real, and beautifully untamed.
We're your hosts, Rebecca and Aubrey, two women obsessed with pleasure, healing, and all the messy, magical truths that make us who we are.
In each episode, we'll have a soul stretching, taboo busting, pleasure driven discussion initiated by pulling one tarot card and one mystery topic out of, well, whatever we have around the house.
No scripts, no rules, no pretending.
Just fully exposed and improvisational dialogue.
So take a breath, soften your shoulders,
grab your whip,
and step into this sincere space with us. Let's get naked in the ways that matter most. Okay, so for those on video, let me just adjust my lighting really fast. This is our vessel. Our
and
vessel
for those
today.
not watching the video, it is a beautiful cup, ceramic, I believe, cup with boobs on it.
Yes.
It's
I
delicious.
made it, actually.
Wow.
These are modeled after my real nipples. So
Yay. Tune in.
all right, let's see. Get our
Okay, reaching
oh, I
in.
pulled two. I pulled
Ooh,
two by
okay.
accident. One was hanging from the other. Should we do both or should we keep it
You
one?
feel out. We're picking which topic from the boob mug. Feel out,
Mm-hmm.
just hold and see which one feels more pulled.
I'm gonna say my left hand, the one
Oh
in
my
my
God,
left
LOL,
hand.
me too. I was literally
Okay,
thinking if she doesn't pick, I'm choosing.
I love
Yeah.
it. That's luteal energy right there. I love that.
Yes.
Nervous system.
Ah, yes. Oh my gosh. Nervous
Mm-hmm.
system. Okay, and then next I'm going to pull, I will pull a tarot card
Mm.
from my tarot deck. There it is. Whoa. It's the
Just fly
magician
out.
card.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
the
how
magician,
beautiful.
right? The magician card on my tarot deck is a stunning woman with fishnets on her hands, which we love. And she's like holding energy, the world, everything in her hands. So we have the magician tarot card and the nervous system. Goodness me, I have stuff coming up
Perfect. Great.
already. So this to me feels, and I feel like we're gonna have a lot to talk about. It feels like I've been hearing a lot or talking a lot to people in my sessions about the capacity to sort of like, we've talked about this too, but like witnessing your emotions, also witnessing your nervous system, witnessing like your body in
Mm-hmm.
ways where you can understand your body, you can understand what is coming up. So to me, with the magician card, it feels like you hold the power of your experience. Bear with me, it sounds very powerful. You hold your experience in your hands. Like you are the one that is taking yourself through it. Now, that sounds kind of like you are doing this and you are doing that. And there's such a differentiation between like being like, it's your fault versus being like, this is your care. This is your care. Your nervous system is your care. Your experience is in your care.
Mm-hmm.
Your tears are in your care. So I think that's more of the tone of what I feel is that it's in your care versus being like, it's your doing, you know what I mean? I don't
Right.
know if that makes a difference, but that's that care and that you are the one that holds that care. You hold the space, you hold the boundaries, you hold
Mm.
the understanding or the not understanding and the space of the unknown, and you can hold it with care.
Yeah.
And it allows your nervous system to sort of go, oh, even if we don't have answers, it goes, oh, there's a level of safety. I am actually safe here. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that is what I get initially.
Ooh, I love that.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, well, when we talk about care and holding things with care, I think of the word self-care, which I kind
Mm.
of it's like kind of bastardized a little bit now that word, right? But over time, that's kind of what I'm hearing, what we're
Mm.
doing, right? Is like
Mhm.
holding this space for our experiences, for our challenges, for things that are uncertain
Mm.
in our life, and holding it with care. It's another form of self-care, really.
So you're speaking beyond the aspect, which can include baths or like self-care, like doing your facials. We're talking
Totally.
about
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
energetic question mark, energetic care.
Yeah. Or emotional care. Like when
Mm.
I think of nervous system and nervous system regulation, something that I think, has been a challenge, but also it's like a blessing and a curse, you could say, is I'm a quite an emotional being. And so I feel things very deeply, very viscerally.
Mhm.
And I know that that can be quite scary for some people to allow themselves to feel things in
Mhm.
general, feel sadness, feel grief, feel pain. But if we don't process in our emotions, and it can look so differently how we all do that, right? But if we
Mhm.
don't have some type of process where we're moving through these emotions instead of just holding them and or, pushing them away, which is another form of just holding them, right? We just don't
Mhm.
really know that we're holding them. That to me is what wrecks our nervous system.
I just
And
wrote that down.
right. Yeah. It just like bogs it up. And
Mm.
so having tools to process or having spaces maybe or a person that you can process these things with helps to regulate your nervous system over time, which I think I'm still like in the process of kind of I'm not perfect and I'm figuring this out myself, the whole nervous system regulation thing anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so interconnected, like the emotional, physical, and like our nervous system to me, I understand it's like a physical thing as well, our nervous system, but it's also more. It's the
Hmm.
emotional, it's the mental, it's all of it. It's all of it intertwined. And the nervous system, whether or not it's directly related to the spine. I know someone's going to know much more about this, but it reminds me of like the spine, and this like the spine of it all holds all the information, right? It's where the
Right.
blood vessels go, or the shit. I actually don't know all of this, but like the nerves, it's the center of like, it stands us tall, it shrinks us down. It's like the
Yeah.
center. What my
It
point
holds us
is,
up. It holds
yeah,
everything together.
my point is, even if I'm totally wrong, I love science and I like totally like I'm seeing all the books from my childhood taking these courses, don't remember. But my point is that, our nervous system reminds me of the spine to some capacity and how much importance
Mm.
there is to it. And speaking of, you were mentioning that we're still going through it. I personally feel like our nervous system isn't ever just going to shut off or be okay 100% of the time. And not that it's not that you can't step in with awareness and that you can help it and like see it a little bit quicker next time or work with it a little bit better or have an awareness where it maybe doesn't jolt you as much. Like, yes, we can work on the betterment essentially of our connection to our nervous system and what it's saying, but our nervous system holds a responsibility, really, I feel, to let us know. Like, it lets
Hmm.
us know this is off. And then it's like sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. It's then our responsibility beyond that to go, fuck me.
What do
I'm
I do?
severely burnt out or I'm vibrating beyond measure. Okay, what are you trying to tell me? It's
Hmm.
communication, and like speaking of spine, brain, whatever, stomach, whatever, it's all communication is really truly how I see it. And the magician, again, to me, is like the master of communication with your nervous system and with yourself. Um,
Mm.
I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
I keep writing the word speak and communication. And so I
Yeah.
almost feel like my nervous system is going like, hey, like even right
Hello.
now, hey, love you. Hey, love you. Hey, whoa, stop. Hey, girl. Hey. And we're burnt out now because you're just, woo, go you, love you, and now we're fucked. Like,
Wow, what a way of communication. That sounds like your nervous system. How it would talk to you, I mean. Like, hey
yeah,
girl,
yeah,
hey, whoa,
yeah.
hey, hey.
Whoa,
Like
girl.
it said so many things, but it just chose one word to say it. It's perfect.
So
No, I
funny.
think you're right though. I totally agree with you. It's a communication thing. And I think that's why sometimes it can be confusing. Like it definitely was very confusing for me when I first started
Mm,
learning about like when somebody said like, oh, like nervous system regulation. I'm like, well, what does that exactly mean? Like what, because like there's this literal part of my mind that's like, point me to my nervous system. Where is it? Like, and
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
it's like, well, you can't really point to it. I mean, there's certain parts of us that maybe your nervous system runs through more, but like
Mm,
it's kind of this, to me, I picture it as like almost like like how our connective tissue is like it's all over our body. Like I
mm.
picture our nervous system running through all these different parts of our body, and in some parts it's like thicker and it has more paths and more offshoots, and in other parts it's thinner and doesn't have as much. And so like when I first started kind of using this term or learning about this term, excuse me, I couldn't like picture it. And I was just like, how do I
Mm.
regulate my nervous system when it's like I don't know where it is or like it's all over. Like it was hard to kind of figure out that way. So I don't know. I don't know if anyone listening has had any confusion with that or has experience with that. I'd love to hear about your experience there. But fast forward a few years, now I just kind of understand it. And oh, I'm so curious to know what like your definition of this is too. But my understanding of this nervous system is actually I've never had to like say a definition of it. So I'm like
Right?
kind of like thinking of it now. Yeah, like let's give me a minute here so I could like figure out how I want to say it. And you can chime in if you have a good definition yourself, because I'm curious as to how you would define your
Oh,
nervous system.
yeah, so much of me wants to be scientific because I do love science, but I have not. That's so interesting. What a beautiful thing to say, to ask and to sit with. And I'm thinking as well, what I'm also going to do, I'm going to make my own definition. I'm also going to go onto our fancy Google, but
That
I'm
is
not going to look
literally
at
what
it.
that's literally what I just did.
Really?
I just opened it up. I was like, you know what? Let's see what
Oh my
Google's
God.
got to say about this.
Oh my God. Cute. Okay, so we've hit on a few points already. Okay. But so I see what it is. What do you want me to say what it says here? Okay. So basically it says it's the body's command center comprising the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. It regulates,
Hmm.
processes, transmits messages and electrical signals to control the body functions, movement, senses, and thoughts. So like literally what we've been talking about.
I love it. I love it.
Which is so beautiful. Yay. Felt like Sherlock Holmes. I watched Young Sherlock and his visual memory is so beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, I think I had that moment a little bit here on this
Dude, that
podcast
makes me Dr.
episode.
Watson. Fuck yes.
I love it.
But
I'm still feeling through mine if you have yours. I like this.
yeah, well, it's interesting because I know when I feel regulated.
What does that feel like for anyone listening? Curious.
Yeah, yeah. So when I am regulated, I feel a sense of peace, of
Mm,
inner peace, even if things around me are going to shit, like
mhm,
even if my flight's been delayed for 5 hours or something and I'm stuck in an airport, like if I can get to a place of having a sliver of peace, of inner peace, that's when I know that I'm at least on my way to regulating my nervous system, right?
mm,
Because honestly, I was working with one of my old life and relationship coaches, and it was right when I left that abusive relationship I was in, and I was starting to date Eric, but we weren't like exclusive yet. Uh, I was practicing like trying to figure out my boundaries and trying to figure
mm.
out like what I liked. Um, after like a year, I was like, boundaries are easy. Like this is nice. And she's like, well, you've also just been in your house like by yourself. It's
Yeah.
I was like, she right. She right.
Ooh, fair.
She's like it's a little bit harder when you're, interacting with other humans in this way and trying to maintain boundaries that way. And
Mhm,
so that's when I think of like nervous system regulation of like, okay, like it was super important for me to start in places where I felt really safe,
mm,
aka my own home. And figuring out like, okay, what is my body feeling? What does calm feel like? What does grounded feel like? How do I know I'm grounded? It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to figure those things out in your own body when you get to practice in a place that's like safe. It's like going to a boxing ring. You're practicing with people, you're sparring with people that you know, and then you go out and, fight somebody. I don't know. It's a terrible analogy, but
I love it because
you
sometimes it
know,
feels like you're literally fighting, even if you're not, even if everything's going
yeah.
fine and you're literally like so uncomfortable that I'm fucking fighting this right now. Like it feels like it
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
said before this episode, vibrational and energetic punches, and it can feel like that if you're setting a boundary to protect your nervous
hmm
system as you're learning. Yeah, it can definitely feel like that.
Totally.
Um, I think you said some really, really beautiful things, and if there's space, I'd love to share my experience with my nervous system when I started to, oh God, I feel it as I'm saying it. So wild. Oh gosh. So my experience when I started feeling safety in my nervous system, when my nervous system was relaxed and I literally went, I've never felt this before, ever. Like childhood did not know what that meant ever. So when I first started to learn it, I'm tearful and it feels also extremely terrifying. It is
Mm-hmm.
so terrifying for me to have a calm nervous system. Be alert. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
something I've done. Like you said, I also isolated from some severe trauma from my sex tape stuff. I isolated for years.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn it within yourself, or you start to learn it within yourself, which is a shit show. And then you start to take
Mm-hmm.
it out. I started with animals on the ranch, and then I started with people in like a small town, and now I'm in LA. Fucking shit show, especially with what's going on in the world right now and in the States and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like a fucking shit. It's a shit show. And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. And when I feel those moments, though, because we're allowed to feel at peace, we are allowed to have a calm nervous system, even amongst like literal
Chaos.
chaos,
Yeah.
like, and in fact, it's where we can operate to protect others if something big is happening. It's where we can take care of ourselves. It's where we can find the food sources if it's that, if it's that dire, that when we have that nervous system that is more, I don't want to call it at peace, but when it's more like there's breath to it and there's
Mm-hmm.
awareness to it and space for it to like feel at peace, I don't know how else to say it right now, then that's when we can actually operate in what's best for us and what's for others around us. And, you
Totally.
know, I've been thinking I feel guilty when my nervous system feels calm and I have these moments that I'm still learning to understand because again, I never knew what the fuck that meant.
Yeah.
I was all felt always unsafe, whether it's the fault of anyone or not. That was my experience as a kid, was I was always on guard, non fucking stop. And in my
Mm-hmm.
30s, almost 40s now, is when I'm starting to go, shit,
Oh,
whoa,
I
here
don't
it
have to be
is.
on guard. And like, but then
Yes,
like that transition between always being on guard and then not, it's like, this feels really foreign.
mm,
This feels kind of unsafe. Am I good to like to
exactly.
take a nap? Like, are we good? Are we gonna be okay? Like, yeah, you have
Exactly.
to
Yeah,
feel that
because like
out.
your body wants to go, like something's going to happen.
Yeah,
And that's when
right.
your nervous system, thank you, nervous system. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for being alert and being in a position to scan. Can we also, and I honestly, I think with how things are going in the world right now, and it's very much affecting many of us, myself and many of us, right? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
all, I don't know, can't say, but like it's so like scary to feel calm. I feel so much
Mm-hmm.
guilt feeling at peace and I need to remind myself that this is like a bigger picture thing. And even like I said, this is something I've thought about is you are going to think better for yourself when you're calm. Like when the fires were happening in LA,
Yeah.
we had a direct threat. Like we literally
Yeah.
picked up and went, like we left. And it's like I luckily had a lot of people around me. And so we all bounced off of nerves. And there was also a lot of calm sources. My
Yeah, you
my
could
boyfriend,
rely on. Yeah.
right? He was the calm one. And he actually, when I think about it, him being in a more calm space, he was the one that lined up the hotel. He was the one, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
that we weren't important and it's not that we weren't doing our part. We were
Yeah.
perfect as we were. And also, I guess I see the benefit of in these like threat situations to even your like physical being
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. It's actually really good. It's funny. It's good to feel calm, but also like really important to not feel calm. You are
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
safe, but like
Keep calm and listen to your nervous system.
yeah. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this is a little off topic, but I'm just gonna
Mm,
bring it in just
yeah.
because last time or maybe the time before we talked about like masculine and feminine. And
Mhm.
I feel like part of the masculine pieces that we sometimes feel in ourselves is that feeling of protection. And I know that, and I've shared this with my partner, it sounds like, your partner has similar kind of equanimous energy of like when shit's going down, they can what they're having their own situations with their nervous system, whether they're
Mm.
conscious of it or
Or
not.
suppressing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, honestly, from the outside. I can create a bunch of stories about it, but I don't
Well,
actually
I
know.
talked to my partner about his, but anyways,
I don't
yes.
know. However, whatever's happening in their
Right.
nervous system or not, I am grateful to have kind of that like grounded energy when it feels like I can't be there right now, when my nervous
Mm,
system is on alert, right? Because
hmm
things are happening.
mm.
I I always joke with my partner like, yo, if we have a zombie apocalypse, like just like fucking leave me. Like I am not gonna be helpful in any way, shape, or form. I'm gonna
Oh
cry a
my
bunch.
gosh,
I'm
that's
probably
so
gonna just uh
mm,
yeah, just cry and want to sit in one place. Not very
mm.
conducive for a zombie,
Maybe,
apocalypse.
maybe the zombie will feel bad for you. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you'll
I'll
become
sacrifice.
besties. You never know. It might be really helpful. Yeah.
Actually, that would be like, hey, let's hear these guys out.
Yeah.
Like
You know what? Just like let's sit
hear them
down for a
out.
second.
They have feelings too. Would be
Yeah.
like, get the fuck out of here.
That's so funny. I always joke, and actually everyone around me says that if something were to go wrong, even in the fires, like whatever. Anyways, let me just, in general, people
Mm-hmm.
say, if anything goes wrong, I'm coming to you. Like, and I do
Mm-hmm.
feel that. And I think that, in my early days, early adulthood, the roles that I was taking on, I was in a leader role a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Leader in like thinking in very stressful situations and making very quick decisions. I have that skill like down pat. And when it comes down to it, you can count on me 100%. I'm going to be stepping up. What that does for me though is it does take me into like I'm not listening to my nervous system. I am acting
Mm-hmm.
out of this like heightened state, but it's like necessary, right? Like it's
Yeah.
necessary in that. And I
Yeah,
have
you got
no
to think
problem.
logically. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem doing that. And in fact, I really like that. And also, like, because of all of the like trauma and relearning and moving into spirituality, which like there's like stages of moving into self like awareness and even spirituality, really too. There are like stages, like it's not for everyone. And that's something I'm consciously thinking of now is like in these big situations, how's my nervous system? Like it becomes more like in the fires as an example, it became a very personal thing, which is very interesting because I have to learn that. I have to
Mm-hmm.
learn how I feel when
Mm-hmm.
shit's hitting the fan. And as much as you can count on me, if you need me, I'm gonna fucking step up. We're gonna be hunting for what we need. We're going to be foraging. We're going to be doing like you come to me. But it's the choice too of like, hold on a second. I want to understand myself too in these situations. And I do feel like I had that from being around a bunch of people and also my boyfriend at the time who literally like love him to beat bits and pieces. And him and I talk about it all the time. He has learned to not. He has learned
Mm-hmm.
not a big deal. He has learned to push away.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about that all the time because for me, it's very important for him not to do that. Whether that's in
Mm.
my eyes, whether that's seen as masculine, feminine, I'm not too sure where that lies, to be honest. But
Right,
like
right.
there is a masculinity of, well, you're too much, or well, like this is too much. So I'm just not going to
Mm-hmm.
go there. And
Yeah.
for me, in my relationship, it's actually really important that we both hold the capacity for hold on, I want him to be able to be like, I can't right now. I
Yeah.
need you, and I go,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha, and vice
Yeah.
versa. In the fires, I didn't need him to be honest, but it was nice. It was like I didn't ever have that before because like I didn't have someone who wanted to step up for me that way or not tell me that
Yeah.
I'm too much and actually like go like, oh my God, let me do this
Yeah.
because you need this. Like I never had that before. So it was
Yeah.
easier in quotation for me to be like, fuck, my nervous system is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, but
Makes total
I guess,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. And for me,
Makes
it's
total
super
sense.
important that in the world, especially right now, and this is very personal to me, the masculine, feminine, in a way, gets like we need to redefine a little bit here because what I see stemming from the extremism, not from like what you're saying is so beautiful and like embodying and amazing, truly. And I believe that. And there's some things like in my family where it gets like used as a way to diminish
Right. Totally.
Mostly feminine. So I think I have a
Yeah.
bit of a wound there, but at the same
Yeah.
time, beyond a
Good
wound, I actually
awareness.
have a curiosity and a fascination and a knowing that like we all hold all of this stuff in our
Totally.
fingertips, in our insides, in our nervous
Mm-hmm.
system. Like our nervous
Mm-hmm.
system is affected by situations, hormones, trauma, and that's the information that it's giving us. And also our nervous systems are just nervous systems. You know what I mean? So it's like our
Mine's an
nervous
extra
system.
nervous system.
And I think that's also the magician aspect to me is that there's this like, I know you were like, I don't know how to describe it when you first started learning it, which is so beautiful. Like, how do you describe it? How do you embody that when you're like, what is
Mm-hmm.
that? You
Yeah.
know, for me, it was feelings, and feelings are my guide for life. Like, that's just one of my superpowers, right? Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. One of
Mhm.
your superpowers. And oh my gosh, I feel like I'm talking so much, but like,
You're
I
talking the
think,
perfect amount.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for calling that out for me too. Anyways,
Hmm.
yeah, it's this magician side that like our nervous systems for all of us, it's almost like this like really cool, weird, interconnected thing that we all have this like I know they're all different, but really it's the same.
Yeah.
Like,
We all
you know
have
what I
like
mean?
these little inner compasses that are like basically built out of the same template,
Right?
but they have these different nuances because of our experiences, our trauma, and our memories, right? All those different things. Yeah.
I
That's a really
wonder if
cool way
all
of
of our
thinking about it.
nervous, right? I'm so fascinated right now. I wonder if all of our nervous systems like speak the same language when they're calm.
Yeah. Ooh, that could be
Right?
sweet.
Like the
Yeah, well,
source
it's kind of like
energy
the
of
whole
our
like frequency thing, right? Certain emotions have different
yeah.
frequencies. I'm not super,
Oh,
I don't know much about that type of language, but I've read that stuff before. And so like, yeah, it's like what frequency language are our nervous systems able to maybe even interact with each other when we're on, when we're in the same frequency, right? It's kind of like
wow.
I think of it as like trees, like how trees
Mm.
are like trees in a forest, their roots go down into the ground and then they're all like kind of interconnected with each
They
other and they can
communicate with each other.
communicate with each other through these like little mycelium vines that kind of look like nerves a little bit, like in our body too. And so, yeah, I am curious about that as well now. Like that would be so cool to be like, because I also feel like when just, like from a communication standpoint, when you're talking to somebody, when you're interacting with somebody, and there's a moment in the conversation when you both click and you're like, I know exactly what you mean,
Yeah.
Like,
Ooh.
I wonder if that's like the feeling that can be recreated when our nervous systems are like on the same page?
Oh my God, this is so exciting. Like all I want to do right now is dive into books upon books upon book. Like even like in the spiritual world, like this just makes so much sense. It like oh my God, it's blowing my mind,
Dude,
And
love
I
it.
know it's beyond even just our nervous system, but really truly, I love what you said because I love those moments where like the eye looks like this and the nervous system looks like trees. It's yes,
Mm.
yes.
We're connected. We are part of nature, so it
We
makes
are the
sense.
universe. We are the world.
Such a good song. Such a good song. Hey, that should be our outro song that we play instead of our normal stuff, just for
Oh
this
my
one.
gosh. That got me
Uh,
pumped. I almost don't even
yeah.
know where we are. I'm like he's on a different planet.
One of the things you mentioned while you were talking about the nervous system's kind of one of its jobs, right? Keeping
Mm.
us alert and, helping us identify threats and, resistance and those types of things. And in our past lives, like being leading leaders, right? Like in whatever spaces we're in. I was in sales and I was a manager. So that's
Mm.
how I did it. And yeah,
Mm.
like being in this place where you're like, I'm in charge and I'm responsible for these people, like in their careers, or I'm responsible for these projects, which is also helping these people in some way. So there's a level of responsibility that you take on when you are a leader in some capacity, depending on the situation. Yeah, it doesn't always it's easily accessible to like pause and tune into your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta just go and get
Mm.
it done. And I agree with you. I think that can be really fun in some capacity and feeling really kind of powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And then also chronically, if you do that for like years and years and
Mm-hmm.
you don't tend to your own
Mm-hmm.
nervous system in any way, It's like tending to a garden, then it's gonna, there's parts of that it will die, and there's parts
Yeah.
that will dry out. And so I think chronically, I've heard the term, oh, my nervous system is shot, whatever
Yeah.
that. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of get that now because after ignoring my body
Hmm.
for a decade or more, stepping into leadership roles from that place of just neck up, work, all mind work, and then also entering personal relationships from that space as well
Hmm.
and going into sexual
Hmm.
spaces in that way. It's like, yeah, it makes sense that my nervous system is quote unquote shot.
Yeah,
No.
it's like we put ourselves through shock essentially, and then it's like
Yeah.
shock. We're like, what the fuck
Yeah.
just
It's like a
happened?
stress test, but for like
Yeah.
15 years.
I think a lot of us, like, we've been learning about this more. I think all of us, it's so tricky because like we all need to take some time to understand like what our nervous system is saying.
100%.
To me, like, no matter what yeah, who you are, what your gender, what any of that is, what your inner makings
Hmm.
is like we gotta, like we are in the space of continuing to learn about what it says and how to create space for it too. Culturally too, I
Ooh.
think there are some differences, around the world. I would say certain cultures have uh whether they would say it like this or not, based on how work isn't their number one thing, how they have, even going as far as like free healthcare as an example, or
Hmm.
really good healthcare, having boundaries at work. Like it's work isn't everything, and
Hmm.
like money isn't
Hmm.
everything. Like a lot of their nervous systems, and I experienced this from Canada, which is still has room to grow, sure, coming to the States, like my nervous system has been completely gutted here as well in the States because of, I would say, mostly the healthcare,
The
also
change of, yeah,
everything else. It is a culture shock.
yeah.
And I'm here. And yeah, anyways, like I think that in some areas of the world, it's whether it's said directly or not, it's more normalized to like have a better nervous system, essentially, better, rude nervous system, a calm nervous system to be able to like enjoy life. Like when my nervous system is at peace, is when
Mm,
I see joy, is when I taste things more, I see flowers more, I look at the sun and actually feel what that feels like, maybe not directly, but when it's setting, and it's like I can
mm,
feel joy. Like
mm,
that's when I can feel joy. And I think culturally speaking, a lot of the Western culture, we are not set up for that. We're actually set up
hmm,
for the opposite because they kind
hmm.
of want our nervous systems to be shot. And it's like time for us to be the magician and learn what that looks and feels like, at least individually right now, until the
Totally.
society catches up.
I
They're
just
like,
had
no,
a
this isn't right. What,
I just
what?
had a vision of like in the future, like world leaders coming together and being like, well, our nervous system is better than yours. So just like, all right.
That's the
That'd be
currency.
interesting. That's the currency. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh
gosh, I
man.
could see
Okay,
that.
I love where we're going with this though, because the
Mm,
question I was just about to ask you that I wrote down was how do we tune into our nervous systems? Like what,
mm,
because not everybody's on a different level of relationship with their bodies, right? And I think that's just a good way of putting it because our nervous system, it is a physical thing, right? Like we physically have a nervous system that we can see and we can point out like with maybe x-rays or whatever, however,
mm.
whatever
Yeah, yeah.
machines they're using in
Yeah,
Western
whatever it
medicine.
is. Science. Please help us because I love science.
Please
Okay.
help us. If there's a doctor listening to this, can you just correct everything we say? Thank you very much. No, but like, so there's a
Mm,
physicality, there's a physiological way, I think, of tuning in. There's an emotional way of tuning in.
mm,
There's spiritual, right? So there's all these different like access points. And I think
mm,
depending on the person, right, they're gonna have easier access to one than the other. Like for me, I think I have easiest access to my emotional points
mm,
because that's like my
mm,
first language, and maybe for somebody else, they have easier access to their spiritual places when it comes to the nervous system. So, yeah,
mhm.
I'm curious, and maybe we can both share in here, like, how do we individually tune into our nervous systems? And yeah, and maybe that could give some support for those listening of like, if they're like, yeah, bro, like, I don't know, I don't even know where to begin with this.
Mm.
Um,
Oh,
kind
I
of
have
share maybe where we began.
so many things coming up. I don't have full answers yet. It usually comes as I either speak, and if we don't come to an answer, that's okay. The
Right.
first thing for me that I heard, and I'd love to hear your side too. The first thing I heard was quiet. Like, and it was this, interestingly enough, the quiet felt almost like loud and forceful because it goes like fucking stop for a second. And that's the magician too, is quiet. Create
Mm,
quiet for yourself. And like we said earlier, sometimes when we face things for the first time or we create the space for this, it can be terrifying. Like
totally.
quiet, you're gonna feel your system rattling for a second here. I need to
Yeah,
tell you
you might.
something. To me, it's like creating space. And I had this weird, I don't know what this is trying to say exactly yet, but it's like energy is slow. And even in this card, it's like energy is slow. And I don't know exactly what that means, but it's showing me when I almost hit this bear on my drive, time, and it happened when I got hit on a bike too, time slowed down where it was like I was able, when I got adored on my bike, I was able to slow time or something, or time slowed, and I was able to be like, put your left foot down,
Mm,
fall this way. Like it literally, like time
whoa.
slowed, and I was able to help myself fall better, even though I still hurt myself. With the bear, same thing, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but time slowed when the bear ran in front of me. Like literally, I saw the fur or whatever it is go like foof and glisten,
Mm,
foof
whoa.
boof in front of me, and I was able to stop, and not like I didn't veer, I didn't, like it was just like I was able to mitigate the situation in a very, everything was fine, everyone was safe, and like I just kept
Hmm.
driving, and I actually pulled over and totally cried and needed a minute, but like at the same,
Yeah.
I listened to my nerve anyways, but
Nervous
like
system.
yeah, and I don't really know, I don't honestly, I don't know if I'm feel like I'm getting some sort of message through this that like our nervous system speaks to us beyond what we can sometimes even anticipate. And so in the quiet space is this space where it has opportunity to show you.
Totally.
And I think for me too, my nervous system, I used to deal with my nervous system through dance, physical, 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 physical.
Hmm.
And I had injuries and then brain concussion thing for 2 years and then the sex tape stuff, and it like forced me away from dance, but it never did that. What I actually see now is that it goes, hold on, we need other ways
Hmm.
to listen, to
Tune
deal
into
with your
this.
emotions, to tune
Yeah,
into essentially what your nervous system, we need more ways, girl. And like so I think that's where it gets so complex. And why I got so excited when you asked that is because if you really look into your life, you can see, or if you need help, let us know because that's what we're here for. And sometimes it's hard. But really, ultimately, we do have the ability, the magician ability to see our lives and see what speaks to us the most. I
totally.
feel so much. I was told I was too much. Gift,
Hmm.
message. Your nervous system speaks to you, or even your guides or God is going to speak to you through your feelings. Oh, I
Hmm.
noticed that I really went to the gym 24/7 and it really gave me peace. It might speak to you through physical sensations first, and it might give you challenges and good things to understand and get to the root of your nervous system. Your life speaks to you in through
Totally.
you, like through the unique you. And
Mm.
so, like, I don't even know, like, how do you tune into your
That's
nervous
good.
system? You get quiet and you
Yeah.
notice and you
Whew.
breathe and you can see it's almost like when you look back, the energy gets slower and you can actually get to the juice of it. So, like, I don't
Yeah.
know. That was
That
my
was
answer.
beautiful. That was a mic drop. All right. Episode's over.
I'm sweating. Thanks. That
Dude,
happens.
same. Yeah. Yeah, that was really beautifully said.
Mm,
'Cause you're right. We all have this. That's like one of the coolest parts of being a human being, in my opinion, is we have this brain that can look back and somewhat look forward and like see like patterns and understand like I'm unique, you're unique, this person's unique in their own way. Like we all have some type of like gift, you know. And it's I'm starting to believe, I don't know if I like fully am there with it, but I'm definitely on my way to like we all have this gift and we're put on this world for a few things and our life is just trying to figure out what that is basically so that we can contribute the way that we're meant to,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, the quiet, I also wrote solitude.
Mm,
And when you were talking about slowing down, having those experiences that slowed down, like that is when we can actually listen, right? Like if you just even just thinking about an example of like, okay, if you walk into a room and there's 100 people in it and they're all talking at the same time, it's going to be hard to hear one conversation, like
Mm-hmm.
one person. But if you walk into a room and there's two people and they're talking, then it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a lot easier to hear probably both of what they're saying, right? And so it's
Mm-hmm.
similar, like if we go into a quieter space, which again can be kind of scary because then
Mm-hmm.
it's like we're confronting at
Mm-hmm.
times, right?
You're seeing yourself.
You're seeing yourself, yeah. And so going into a quiet space, slowing yourself down because
Mm-hmm.
our body moves at a different pace than our mind does, like way different pace,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our mind is like firing neurons super fast, instant, and our body moves a bit slower and it takes time for it to catch up. So we've got to slow down in order to
Mm-hmm.
hear what's being said through our bodies. Yeah, so that was really beautifully said.
Too. I was sitting here the whole time nodding and going like, like it's so true. Oh, like that slowness and that feeling of like when you can sit with yourself and feel something or hear something or however it
Mhm.
comes forward or want to run away, even that's beautiful. It's so beautiful when you can like really hear your body, when you can
Hmm.
hear your system, when you can hear like, spiritually speaking for me this like almost like my body has blurred with the energy around me in a beautiful way, like the nervous system and the trees. Like it honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like we all have that capacity. I'm literally tuning into that on a daily basis, and it's so stunning. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And
Yeah. So much wisdom. So much wisdom.
we hold so much stuff within us, like every single one of us. And I think we've talked about this a few times too, that the isolation, the solitude, the quiet, the like, when I even think of quiet, I see like me or a person in like a closet, like with the dark, like that. You can do that. Like, do what you need to do. Don't judge yourself as much as as possibly can. Like, put yourself wherever you need. Like, I remember putting
Right.
myself in a closet once and just sitting there
Hmm.
because I was like, because the clothes absorb, and the clothes absorb sound, right? So it
Yeah.
becomes, it becomes like really
Really
quiet.
quiet.
And
Nice. Yeah.
I think something else too, again, sorry, I got sidetracked for a hot second, is the idea of when you can create that space, find yourself and listen in, eventually it becomes, if you want, if you have choices to bring that knowing, that insight into people, into situations,
Into your
stress,
work.
into,
Yeah.
right, into work, into whatever's going on. And you don't
Totally.
have to do that if you're not ready or don't want to. Like some people literally
Hmm.
live in solitude and isolation their whole lives and they fucking love it. Like, yes, live it, queen and king and they. Like live it. Choose your poison in, just kidding. You choose your magic. A
Choose your
magician.
poison.
Everything has challenges. Choose your magic, but it is like I would say for many of us living in our worlds and where we live, and how community is also important. It's like, okay, even when we go into community that's ours, even when we go into a place or even a living like in a city that's ours, there's still going to be stuff that comes up. There's still going
Mhm.
to be triggers. Your nervous system is going to get shot. So can we take this learning
And
into
apply it.
higher,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't stress situations. If your nervous
Yeah.
system is
Yeah.
learning, it might feel stressful at first. And then it becomes like,
Well,
okay, I've got myself, eventually, no matter what, I'm here, I'm listening,
yeah, you don't abandon yourself, right?
Mm,
Totally. Yeah. You stay with yourself so that way you
mm.
can, it's kind of like, yeah, you're your own bodyguard,
Mhm.
kind of, which
Yeah,
is, yeah,
yeah.
dude. I was also writing down just the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system
Yes.
because I think that also relating to stressful situations and just, higher stress, um, is what tells our bodies, yeah, that we're kind of in an unsafe space, and so we need to activate. So our sympathetic nervous system is what's activated when we are in a stress response, right? So fight, flight, fawn, fight. What did I say? Fight,
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 flight, fawn, fight.
flight,
Wait.
fight or flight. And also just to bring this to a intimate place as well, like when our sympathetic nervous system is activated and what happens internally is our blood is going to our extremities. Like it's going
Mm,
to our legs, it's going to our arms because it's
mm,
ready to run or fight something,
mm,
right? So from a sexual
mm,
standpoint, when we're kind of stressed out, and that can
mm,
just it can be mental stress, it can be physical stress. When we're stressed out in the bedroom, it's going to be really hard to experience orgasmic pleasure because the
mm,
blood is not in our genitals or in the center of our body. It's in our hands, feet, and arms and legs, right? And so when we activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which also is known as like the rest and digest, right? It's like,
mm,
oh, okay, like I'm basically in a place where I'm safe enough where I don't need to be on alert. I can actually digest, things internally. I can rest and digest, right? That's the
mm,
idea. And so being in that state is a really relaxing state for our nervous system because again, we're not stressed and we're not searching for threats or anything. We're just able to chill the fuck out.
mm,
And that again brings, from a sexual standpoint, brings the blood back to the center of our bodies. And that's really what arousal is. Like, yes, there's mental arousal and there's emotional arousal, right? But when I'm
mm,
talking about physical arousal to experience orgasm, like
mm,
you need to have blood coming to your genitals. That's
mm,
what that's what makes a penis hard. That's what
mhm,
makes a clitoris bigger is it fills with blood. And so, yeah, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system are really important here too, as we're talking about nervous system regulation. And what's more magical than an orgasm, really?
right? Literally. Spiritual,
Um, yeah.
magical magician.
Oh,
Yes,
that was great. Maybe that should be our new intro, actually. Yeah.
it works.
And so one of the ways that I tune into my nervous system and
Mm,
try to intentionally activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, is with
mm,
the breath. It's a really,
mm,
really powerful
mm,
tool. It also kind of does feel like magic. I had one woman in one of my circles last month like we were talking about like when we get all stressed out and then like in the moment we were like, okay, everybody, let's just take like 3 deep breaths. And we all just did it and it was quiet. And then she was just like, wow, it's like magic. And I'm like, dude,
Aw.
it is like the breath is such a magical thing. And also like from a um from a spiritual standpoint, like it's happening automatically. We don't have to think about breathing. So it
Mhm,
is this like magical thing that happens behind the scenes that keeps us alive every day. And so when we do tune into it,
mm,
right? If we think about like, yeah, like it's just this thing that's always running. So it always knows what's really going on anyway. So when we tune into it, it can help us bring us to a place of like safety, of rest and digest, especially when we breathe from our stomach, right? When
mm.
we take it, like I think we should all do this actually right now. If you take an inhale and like push your stomach out and then bring it up your rib cage and your chest. And then as you exhale, bring it back down and out your stomach. And inhale through your stomach, pull it up like a wave, and exhale down the wave. And using our diaphragm, using our belly this way, it tells our body that we're in an okay place. You can't take belly breaths when you're running for your goddamn life. You know what I'm saying? It's like your body's
True.
like, oh, we're good? We good? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Uh,
the like magic, like literally,
it's
wow, I
magic.
love, like, holy shit. I'm like
Magic.
drooling with what you said, and I love I've never thought about this and I love it because oh my God, it's literally so powerful what you said. Also, PS, I do think one of your spiritual superpowers is breath, and that can look like a number of things. And I really do feel that the way you can hold a room and like spaces online is unbelievable. Like you have such an incredible ability to create the space that for people to be like embodied and held in. Like you just have such a gift that way. And I've experienced it
Thank
nonstop and
you.
just here, like, wow, like I am just beyond. That's definitely one of your superpowers. And you're already doing it. And I do feel like I'm like, ooh, more. Yeah, excited for you. Yeah. Sorry, there's something coming up in my brain that I'm like, do we mention it right now? Someone
Dude,
told me
I
that
love it when
like,
that happens, right?
yeah. Yeah, you're like, yeah,
People are
I'll
like,
say it.
hello, are you home?
Uh,
You're like, I'm just trying
yeah,
to figure out what to say. Thank you very much.
yeah, I hear a lot of thoughts right now. Someone told me, and I don't know what this means exactly again, but I'm just going to mention it. We can move on from it. If it doesn't land anywhere, that's fine. Is someone told me my gift was with death? And I was like, oh shit, like, what do you mean? And it was literally just recently. They're like, you have a gift with death. And I was like, thank you. Okay. And it was interesting, actually. Nervous system's coming into my mind. It's the essence of creating like a sense of compassion, safety, understanding with death because of the mediumship, but
Mm,
even like the through mediumship, the psychic stuff that comes up or through intuitive work or whatever, she's like, we need more of you to create safety
mm,
around death in our culture and not to take away from people's feelings. That's not about what it is. But it's to understand the interconnectedness. Like the nervous system to me is coming up because it's whoa. It's almost like, whoa. It's almost like they become a part of your nervous system because we are all interconnected. We like definitely are.
mm.
And so I don't know exactly where this is going, but when we die and pass, there's many theories and religions and concepts around it. And
Yeah.
energy is nor created nor destroyed, scientific too. If they become a part of it, they become even more a part of us than they
Mm,
already
hmm.
are. And it's that embodiment, and they become a part of our nervous system. They help us communicate through sometimes our nervous system. And if it's in the parasympathetic or sympathetic state, like they're
Yeah.
helping at that point. So I'm not
Yeah. I
sure
can
why
see
that
this.
came up, but
Well,
yeah.
I can see it like in terms of just from knowing you for many years, like I can see this this connection with death of being like there's been many I think you have had many experiences and you've talked about these experiences and then you help other people with these experiences of
Mm,
parts of them that die, so they
mm,
can continue to like move and grow and
mm.
evolve as
Like a living
people.
person, right?
Living
Right.
person. Yes,
Got you.
yes.
Mm.
Thank you for clarifying. Yes, because as we grow and as we evolve, we have
Mm.
to,
Oh
there's
my
parts
God.
of us that have to die.
Yeah.
And so I think that you embody that really well and you talk
Mm,
about that really well. And yeah, I'm not sure how that's really tied to the nervous system, but I would imagine that in order to feel safe enough to let go of maybe this part of you that served you very well up until this point, maybe it was just a habitual thing or whatever. There's many parts of myself that I'm discovering right now that have served me in my life that I'm in the process of, they're in the process of dying so that
mm,
other things can be born. And so I
mm,
think that you're kind of like that
mm,
doula in that way of with yourself and then also with others of helping them tune into that physically or spiritually, whatever it is for that person, so that they can practice letting go of the
mm.
parts of them that are dying.
Mm.
So
Yeah, girl,
thank
that's
you.
so beautiful. And like the essence too of being finding your safety within the death of
Hmm.
parts of
Yeah, because
self.
it doesn't feel
Thing.
safe, obviously. It's
Yeah,
like
literally.
none of us, I mean, I feel like for the most part, we want to live as long as we can, most of us.
Yeah,
And so like,
most, yeah.
yeah, like that's like the
Yeah.
thing that we are, especially in our culture, our Western
Hmm.
culture,
Hmm.
especially in our Western culture, we are trying to run away from and avoid with at
We
all
fear
cost.
it. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, look at us go. Little magical. Oh, speaking of, look at this. Look at this. Ready? Death and then breath, life. And never once would I ever consider myself to be associated with being awesome at death, but like I actually kind of like it.
Dude, oh yeah. My yoga mentor, she's a death doula or she's
No
in
way.
process of becoming one. Yeah, and
Oh,
I love how she speaks about death. And
wow.
it brings up a lot though, right? Because again, our nervous systems are like, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Yeah.
This is stressing me out. And so you have to pay attention to, yeah, how you're going to go about doing that. But I love
Wow.
that. Yeah, death and breath. And I think also with the breath, it's another tool to figure out when you're not regulated, right?
Hmm.
Like, so in yoga, I'll say this to the students as we're going through different postures, because as a student, I think it can be very easy to just like slip out of your own body and just do what
Hmm.
the teacher tells you to do. Like
Hmm.
I did that for years. And so I try to remind them, like, hey, you might be pushing. pushing yourself too far in this posture if your breathing changes, basically. Because a lot of people like, oh, like find your edge in yoga. And like, what does that mean? Like, how do I know I'm at my edge? Because I've
Mm.
had a lot of practice over the years of numbing myself so that I can push through things that are hard. So how do I know, right? And the
Mhm.
breath is a really great way of figuring that out. Like
Mm.
typically when we're doing stuff, we're just regularly breathing, right? It's just kind of a steady in and out. And when we start to go into something strenuous, our breathing starts to quicken or it gets more shallow. It's like up here in our throat or our chest and not in our belly anymore. And so that's like an indicator that like, oh, your nervous system's probably trying to tell you something right now.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't know what it is,
Yeah, you
but
might need that, and also you might not need that. Yeah,
yeah, but that
yeah,
can be kind of like that can be an indicator that
totally.
your nervous system's trying to tell you something or your body's trying to tell you something when your
Yeah, and if you
breathing changes.
intentionally, yeah. Oh, sorry. No, please go.
That was it. Yeah,
Oh,
you're good.
if if you're putting yourself in the like more strenuous situation, your breath can still be that guide if it becomes like
Mhm.
you're going from like to like oh, you've hit
Yeah,
something.
or holding
So
your breath. Yeah,
totally. Oh my
that's a
God,
big one.
LOL. Literally went to a physio because I held my breath. Like, what the fuck? Wow, so weird. But like so true. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's good stuff.
So, I feel to in the attempt, but also naturally, it feels quite natural right now, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this too, is bringing it to the essence of the card and the piece of paper, which was magician and nervous
Hmm.
system. I think that one thing that's coming up is we don't have to be perfect ever with understanding our nervous system, with having like the knowing. We don't have to know. We don't have to
Hmm.
understand. I think for me, one big word, and it doesn't feel like the actual total answer here, but one big word is like awareness. And I think that to me, the magician in terms of nervous system is awareness, or one of the things could be awareness, having awareness and having the space and creating the space and even the protection to hear it is a part of
Hmm.
your magician choices and capabilities to
Yeah,
like create space for that awareness to be heard. Like I think awareness, because in awareness, you don't have to have all the answers
yeah.
at
No, you
all.
just have
It's
to
like,
kind of acknowledge that it's there, right?
exactly. I'm here. And I
Aware.
think a lot of my work too is taking people to a place of like, I call it my reality check. And I have like a visual thing for it, is like stop reality check. And I
Yeah.
think that awareness is just like, hey, where are we actually? We think we're here or we're operating. Whoa, fuck, whoa, whoa. Stop for a second. What's going on? And like, what can we
Yeah.
sort of see or feel through? So I don't know. I think that's kind of how I see this, as a big bubble for the.
And like again, when I was first like what is nervous system? I don't know.
Mm.
Like I wasn't really connected to my own magician in that way.
Mm.
And I went and sought out other magicians,
Ah.
aka coaches, aka therapists, aka going to workshops and just learning from other people like just kind of how like what we're doing now. We're sharing what we've experienced in our lives and what's
Mhm.
worked for us so that hopefully it can help somebody else with regulating their nervous system or learning about their nervous system
Mhm.
or connecting with their bodies, right? And so I think it's really important to emphasize that like you're not alone in this. Like
Mhm.
there's a whole world of people who are we're all just trying to figure out the best way to live our lives for the most part. And so like, yeah, you're not alone here. And once you find like the little group of magicians that like speak your language, that kind of helps you then again, like it's like going into like a cave where you find like just your people, like finding a community. And then your nervous system doesn't have to be on alert as much, right? Even if you're not aware of it, even if it's unconscious for you, what is actually happening when you go into a safe space is that your nervous system relaxes and it's coming into balance so that you
Mhm.
can then like hear other things or maybe be more creative or step into something new, or start a conversation, right? And so, yeah,
Your
go for
nervous
it.
system is your guide to your magic.
Oh, there it is.
That's it. Oh, that's all, folks. See you next time.
See you next time. That was so good. It's perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Is it? Oh
Wow, that was
shit.
cool. That was a cool one.
I love it when I'm talking and I watch you and you're like, and I can see you have the idea, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear what she says.
I'm like, write it down, girl, write it down. Gee. Wow, that
Oh,
was so beautiful.
yeah, your nervous system is the guide to your magic.
I think I feel like
Mm.
that's the title of the
Yeah, for
um,
sure. That's good. Because I mean, we all are magicians in some
hmm
way, right? That's the
hmm
whole like finding your gift thing.
hmm
Um,
Damn, girl.
well, figure
Pretty
that
cool.
out. You're welcome, world.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in and letting your soul sit with ours. You can find us on our socials at Rebs the Recca.
And at Pleasure Roots.
If you're feeling cracked open, turned on, deliciously uncomfortable, good. That means the truth is working.
Join us next time as we strip down another layer. One card, one topic, one conversation at a time.
Stay honest, stay curious,
And stay naked, where it matters most.